Good morning, boys and girls. How are you this morning? Hope y'all are doing well and staying healthy. We're going to start our lesson today just as a reminder of our memory verse of Daniel 3:17. We might be thrown into the blazing furnace, but the God we serve is able to bring us out alive. Let's say that again. We might be thrown into the blazing furnace, but the God we serve is able to bring us out of it alive. I'm going to sing you a song first that's going to tell you what our lesson is today. And see if you can guess by the end of it. Of course, I'm sure you can, what the lesson is going to be about. Old Haman was a mean, evil man, and a mean, evil man was he. He was meaner than an angry old flea, as mean as he could be. When Mordecai would not bow to him, he had to make his plea. He went to the king and made him agree to sign an evil decree. But Queen Esther was a very good queen, was she. Without delay she began to pray, and she sent to God her plea. She went to the king and bowed real low, even though she wanted to flee. She got the king to change his decree. The Jewish people were free. And then the king gave a new decree, and Haman was no more. Today our lesson is going to be from the book of Esther. It's a book in your Bible. If you want to turn there and read that, you can do that. It has several chapters to it. Our lesson will be found in that book today. And I'm going to use a visual to help us with our lesson today. Queen Esther. Queen Esther was beautiful. Vashti, who was the queen then, refused to appear at the banquet her king had planned. So the queen was sent into exile for defying a royal command. The following day, the angry king issued a royal decree. Have all of the beautiful maidens throughout Persia brought to me. A man named Mordecai brought his niece, beautiful Esther, a Jew. She was the one who stole the king's heart as the girls passed in review. Mordecai did not trust Haman, which made Haman terribly mad. So he urged the king to destroy the Jews by convincing him all Jews were bad. Mordecai went to Esther's maid when he heard of this terrible thing, warned Esther to save herself and all Jews by telling all to the king. But when Esther was told of the people's plight, without even faltering, she dressed in her beautiful royal robes and shyly approached the king. The king was not angered to see her approach, so he granted her request that a banquet he planned the next night with Haman as their guest. As the banquet the following evening, Esther said, "My king, I'm a Jew. Since Haman has ordered my people to hang, so that this means that I must die too." The king rose angrily as he said, "Haman, for this you die." And he chose a Jew to replace him, Esther's uncle, Mordecai. Esther had saved her people, and each year from that day of old, the Jews have a feast called Purim, where the story of Esther is told. God used Esther for a very important purpose. God has a plan for all of us. He has a plan for you and He has a plan for me. You are all special to Him, just like Esther was. Esther saved her people because she was a brave Jew. And God used her to save His people from Haman and the king. And that is our lesson for today. We're going to do something a little different today. Actually the last year and a half, we have been studying our Bible facts. And so we're going to go over some of our Bible facts so that we can continue learning our Bible facts, even though we're not in class. I'm going to probably do about 10 or 12 of them and see if y'all can remember the answers. The first one is, who was the prophet that was sent to Nineveh, but he ran away from God? Who was that? Can you answer that? His name was Jonah. He ran away from God. Jonah ran away from God. Who was willing to sacrifice his son? Do you remember that answer? Who was willing to sacrifice his son? And that was Abraham. Abraham was willing to sacrifice his son. This one you should know from our lesson today. Who married a Persian king and saved the Jews? Who was it? Of course, that was Queen Esther. Queen Esther married a Persian king and she was able to save the Jews. Who was sold into slavery by his brothers? Do y'all remember who that was? That was Joseph. Remember, Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. Do you remember who the judge was that fought with pitcher, torches, and trumpet? Do you remember that one? That was Gideon. Gideon was the one that God told to take 300 men and fight with just pitchers, torches, and trumpets. Here's another one. He was taken to heaven in a whirlwind. Do you remember that one? Actually, it was our lesson last week. He was taken to heaven in a whirlwind. That was Elijah. Elijah went to heaven in a whirlwind. Do y'all remember what the feast day was that celebrated the deliverance of the firstborn? And that was the Passover. The Passover was the day that they celebrated the deliverance of the firstborn. For the Jews, this is the Old Testament, remember, what was their day of rest and worship? What was their day of rest and worship? Do y'all remember? That was the Sabbath day. They were to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Got two more. The perfect place where Adam and Eve lived. Where did Adam and Eve live when they were created? And of course, that was the Garden of Eden. They lived in the Garden of Eden. And the last one, who was the only woman judge? Do y'all remember the answer to that one? Who was the only woman judge? And that was Deborah. Girls and boys, I hope y'all have a good week. I love y'all and hope to see you soon.